Does anybody know what the material is made of that you're wearing? Yeah, you do?
Yeah, I know it's an organic brand.
Okay.
Yeah.
What is it?
I think it's cotton.
It looks like Tencel. I was watching it just now. I thought, hey, so. Because most of us really don't know what something is made of, and I would like to add to Sander his lines. I don't have it here, but in Dutch we say a milk carton doesn't grow on a tree. Well, I always say a T-shirt doesn't grow on a tree, because we don't know what it's made of, what hands are being used, or who is being asked to make it. And this is a little of an introduction of my talk. So first of all, thank you very much, Islands of Innovation, for having me here. It was really nice because I got all these ideas in Portugal that we were thinking of Islands of Innovation from the start, and now it's really nice to be here also at the end. My name is Eileen Blackmore. My dad's a Welshman, and my mum's a Frisian. My own background is art, and I'm a software developer. So what I like to do is to make links. I like to link everything. And I'm the founder of House of Design. House of Design was established in 1996, and then it was an internet company, and we had designers from all over the world on an internet website. And I think, summer 2010, we really started to organize all kinds of projects to set designers in the central, to make them real on stage, to make changes more visible and more tangible. Like all the designs we are wearing, it tells a story. And we're situated in Groningen, now in the pudding fabriek. So we used to be making nice cakes and things. And now I hope a lot of ideas. And we do a lot of projects in the northern part of the Netherlands and also on European base. And, when I talk about design, what is design? Is it only a product? Is it like a coffee machine? Or is it like clothing? Is it design, or is it art, or something in between? Because the role of design has changed. First, it was only practical, and of course we keep the practical stuff, like all these chairs we would like to stash, to put it on the side, but also what is the story that it tells? And also what kind of impact does it have if we design something? What is happening there? All these links, all these little parts are put all together, and I call it a local value chain. This is a model that I've been developing, started in Bulgaria when I was there with Simon Thijsma and some others I see here. When I met somebody who was who was a teacher at an art craft school in Bulgaria, and they knew exactly how trees were growing, how they fall, how you have to make it into sheets, and how to make tables and chairs. And if we think of Bulgaria, a lot of people are leaving the country. Like here, we say it's a remote area in the northern part. The Delta area is also kind of remote. On the last few months, it seems upside down because a lot of people are trying to move over here. But in Bulgaria, it's quite a big problem. And when we went there, and then I thought I had to give a speech also there, and I looked around and I looked at all the window panes and all the doors, and it was all made of plastic. And I thought, okay, you're educating your people to make everything from the wood, from the local resources that you're making, but you're not the one giving them the assignments. So no wonder that people are leaving. So this is a little start of this idea of putting all these stakeholders together. So if we look at the design, where we started, if you design something, you have to make it attractive. Like Sander said, I have this place where is my soil, but you also said my soul. I really liked how you mixed these words, like almost like where is your home? And the design can help with that, to feel this link to the region. But also, what kind of materials are you using, making this T-shirt that's growing on this tree? Is it local? And if you use it, what is the impact of using this material? Where is it made? Where is it production? Is it from far away, or can you work along with small SMEs in your region? And what happens then if you add them to your stakeholder list? And of course, what do we do with the education? Because in my time, I used to learn sitting behind a sewing machine and making things, but the younger people, they don't know how to make or how to mend. But we need them. We need a lot of smart heads and hands. So how do we educate these people? And of course, if you make something, it has to be sold also. Otherwise, you just make stuff and it's for fun, but you throw it away. So you need to have a market. So what kind of business models do you have? And how can you create a system which is continuing? So how can policymakers be part of this? How can they be a starting client or a launching customer? And how can you work with the different assignments? And how do you work with the tendering? And of course, at the end, what do you do with the product? These chairs, are they possible to put them out, to sort it in different waste streams? Or will it be burned? So what is the end of the product? So this is the complete model, how things are all connected to each other. And also on the outer ring, you can see all the goals that are linked to all the links in the value chain. So what is the impact if you do it more local? You connect different stakeholders, and of course you boost the local economy, especially if you look at the Delta area. What is happening there? What kind of materials are growing there? Can you use it for a maker industry? That's why also the linen, but I will come to that later. And especially if you add people from your region making things and that they can see it, they become proud. It's like, hey, I've been part of this. I've been working on this. And I will tell you more about the flax. You know, the farmers, they were really proud of growing flax, and they said, oh, it's going to be cool. Soon I will see people walking in linen clothes, and it used to grow in my fields. You know, this proud feeling, like, hey, I'm from this Delta region. So how can you connect it? So one of the examples of working with this value chain is the Wat van Waarde. It's the Wat of value. I don't know for how long you will be here, but it would be beautiful to walk to one of the islands that you can do here. That's one of these pictures, because this is what it looks like if you come a little closer than the image Sander showed. I don't know, have you ever been wat walking? Heb je gewat lopen? Okay, we'll do next time. I also do tango, so I'm one of the dancers for you, but also wat walking. Okay, cool. So if we look at the Wadden region, it's a place where, of course, there's a lot of nature, but there is also tourism, but we also need economics to have it going. So this is quite something coming together. So how does this work, and how can we meet each other there? So these are all the partners connected to this project, but I will send it later so you can read it closely. These are all the stakeholders that you saw in the circles. They're coming together. And I forgot. So what is Wat van Waarde? What is Wat of Value about? It's from plastic soup to veggie soup. Because, of course, we have a lot of plastic. That's why I was also asking, okay, what are you wearing? Is it polyamide? And the jeans are always 5% nylon. And in a way, this is a plastic soup. So every time you wash your jeans, there's always a little bit of plastic going into the ocean or going into the Wadden Sea or surrounding your islands. And a lot of people do not know this. Also, if you have a polyamide or another plastic, I'm sorry, you're looking at what am I wearing? Yeah, I'm afraid so. So, or you don't wash it anymore, but that's a different problem. Or, of course, it's good to have a look if you can do it bio-based. And why are we doing this change? Is because now you have a ban on single-use plastics for only a few items. So only the straws, only the little packages that you put your fries in, but there's a lot more needed to make this change. So the first step we do, I'm really happy to see Marcel because he's on our team here, is what can we do with all the plastic waste that we find on our beaches, that we find in our region, because it was not good for the climate. So how can we reuse it to mend the climate? So how can we create climate adaptive products out of it? Because this is something that plastic is really interesting for. So how can we collect rainwater for dry seasons, but also if it's really raining very hard? But also how to green the city against heat stress. We had a little project here in the streets nearby called the B Street, and we were also already experimenting with this, and this is what you see here with the tubes. You can see here, it's connected to the rainwater system, and it collects the rainwater for dry periods. So we can link it to a smart irrigation system so it will water the plants in the area. So how can we create more vertical rainwater collecting systems or even gardens? So this is what we're going to do with the plastic waste. And then we go to the veggie soup. So what kind of bio-based alternatives can we create from the material in our surrounding to create a more circular economy? So we have a look at our local gold, our local resources, what's growing in our region, but also what kind of other material is available. Because you see the water treatment plant, this is quite weird, but from this you can make a PHA. I have the little cups here that you can create out of the wastewater streams. It's a bioplastic, but I will tell that later. So what is the material growing already to use in our region? One of them is the flax. Like Jan already asked me, okay, what are you wearing? Okay, I'm really into flax today. What can you do with it? Well, for the farmers, it's really interesting because it's a rotating crop, so you can really rotate it so you have more biodiversity in your region. It's a real soil improver because you have to pull it with a root out of the soil, so you really get a nice fresh soil for all the insects. And of course, you can make linen textiles. You can also use it for biocomposites. You can use the oil also for linseed or for flooring. So it's really interesting material, also for insulation. We're working on it now for the building construction. And how do we do this? Because in the northern part of the Netherlands, we don't have any spinners, we don't have any weavers, we don't have these smart hands yet. So we have to educate it first, and we have to create machines to do all this. But we want to have the market ready also. So we do two lines at the same time. So first we buy European flax, like the textiles, to make the first products, to work with the designers to make it really aesthetic, like, okay, this is about the region that really everybody wants to have it, to make a real must-have. And in the meantime, we're setting up the production area. So, okay, well, how do we harvest it? How do we root it? How do we skiff it? We have all these steps before it is a thread, because we have to spin it. I don't know who of you does spinning with wool, because it's always greasy, it's very easy to do. But if you spin with flax, you need a little moist, so you cannot use the normal spinning machine. So there's quite some knowledge needed before you have a piece of linen. But because we do this at the same time, first we have the flax that we buy to make products, to have the market ready, and then on the other hand, we're creating the production, so if it's ready after 3 years together, then we can really make a big step. So these are the steps we're taking. This year we had 2 hectares, and we will grow until 50. And here you see the flax pulling by hand, so this was a nice romantic moment, and it was good for our backs, so don't do it too often. And here we have an example. No, Sander, I think you have one, and Tjeerd has one. This is how we started with flax. Because everybody said, okay, flax, it's old-fashioned. Why do we need this? And I was telling, okay, this is really interesting for a bio-based economy. And how can we create a circular icon, a real item that tells a story of what is circular? Because we read all things about circular, but we don't really have a clear example. This was 2017 when we started. So we created a sweater and a vest, which we call the Frisian sweater. And it's made of recycled wool and flax. So we linked the 2 fibers together to one thread, and we made one sweater. And as you see, perhaps, yeah, I can show it later. You see the lines, and it is inspired of the Frisian heritage, but also how the flax is standing on the field. So this makes it really into a regional product. And so this is usually how we work with the designers, to make something like, okay, this is about us, this is our pride. And this is also what we want to do now. So we're going to create a bio-based and biodegradable products. And we're working together with Waddengoud, which do all the regional produce in the area. And they want to have sustainable tourism showcase. And therefore, we work together with them to create a wrapping made of linen, but also for multi-use, but also nice bags for on your bicycle, and also other products, and in the end, also the outdoor coats, which are usually polyester, to see if we can create a water-resistant material from the lignin, which you can contract also from the linen already. So Joram, he's helping us out. And also from a PHA that is made, as you see, with the little cups that I will show you. And why these products? Because we did a research from the Wageningen University, who did a research on the island Griend, and they came with a list of all kinds of materials that they have been found. So a lot was fishermen's gloves, and a lot of other textiles, and of course a lot of packaging from tomatoes or all kind from the crisps. So these items are the ones that we look at to replace as first. This is the other local value chain. This is about PHA. You can make it from a starch from sugar beets, but also from grass and also from the water treatment plants. And how can we create a new product to have as a multi-use? The first product we did was during a North Sea project, and this is the BioCup, and it's made from PHA. You can use it in a dishwasher, and it's also biodegradable, that if it drops in the sea, it will degrade. So how can we create a little container where you can do shopping, and then you don't have any waste anymore? So here you can see the cup. And then the same, we will buy the PHA first to make products, and then in the meantime work together to see how we can create it locally, how we can produce it locally. So a lot of change is needed, and that's why we have this local value chain to work together with all these stakeholders to make this change. And just before summer we had a simmerskwalle, a summer school, and we had all the parties of the value chain together, and it became clear what each role is and how you have to work together to make this change. And I'm really happy to do this, and we notice now that it's working. And also we made quite some mistakes in the beginning, because then you learn. That's what I've been taught in the village where I live, near the Wadden Sea. And I hope we will make more, so we can learn a lot. And we need a lot of knowledge and a lot of smart heads and hands, so please join. Okay, thank you very much. Yeah, nice in time.
Yeah, I'm happy.
This
I'm
really
happy.
works,
I'm
you know?
happy.